Hey guys, so we are super excited to have our July team call tonight, and we have Alyssa as our host. Alyssa's been coaching for, has it been exactly a year yet, Alyssa?
I think it's a year when we're in Summit, actually.
Okay, I was gonna say I was pretty sure it was in the next 10 days or so. So Alyssa's almost been a coach for a year. She has learned the ins and outs, the things that work for her, the things that haven't worked for her, and she's kind of found her way and her voice. So she's going to be sharing with you guys today how she's found her voice and her authentic self in this business. So, Alyssa, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hey guys, I'm just texting my husband to come get the dogs because they're whining right now, and Berkeley will continue to whine until I pet her. Okay, so I wanted to make this not super long because if you know me at all, I can talk a lot about a lot of random things. And if you were just on the amazing call that Lindsay Matway was doing, then you've been on calls for quite a bit. So I tried to make this kind of as synced as possible and just talk about a little bit about my experiences. So I'm going to share my screen here. Whoa. Okay. There we go. So I have been a coach now for, like Kelsey said, just about a year. I think it's the 27th to the 28th. So that's going to be really exciting that I get to have my 1 year down in Summit. I originally went to school for teaching. I was under the impression that that's just what I needed to do. So I went to do it, and I realized that that wasn't really for me. I do love the teaching aspect of it. However, my patience level wasn't where it needed to be in order to do that. So I graduated with an education degree, but kind of realized that being in the classroom every day wasn't where I was meant to be. So I ended up picking up with my dog and moving to Saskatchewan. So I've been here now for just about 8 years, and I married Rodney, and we've been married now for about a year and a half, and we've been together for about 5, and we have 2 dog children. Tucker is the one that is my Snapchat like an alien, and Berkeley is I call her my teenager because she literally is a teenager. The picture in the bottom, I had to go outside with the dogs for a while Tucker was injured, and so I had to go out with him in the morning so he wouldn't jump around, and Berkeley did not like that. So she and I would have a standoff every morning. Another fun fact is I actually have 3 jobs, including coaching. I work for the government full-time. I call it my adult job, and that's in communications. And then I also run the social media for my parents or my in-laws' business. They have a restaurant here in town. So I do that plus my coaching. And then I have been approached to design some websites, so I'll be doing that as well. So needless to say, I kind of like to always be on the go. So I want to talk a little bit about my story because where I came from and who I was has really determined who I am now. So I have always been really loud and opinionated. One thing about me that I shared with the girls that are going to Summit is that when I'm uncomfortable in large groups, I get really loud and obnoxious. And I don't know why you would think in large groups you wouldn't want, like if you're uncomfortable, you wouldn't want the attention put on you, but that's just how I am. And so I've always been the type of person that's always been like, look at me, but then I'm uncomfortable there, and then I just try to be whoever everyone wants me to be. So I've always been a people pleaser. I've always thought that I was being my own person, but really, in fact, I was always doing everything to try and fit in. I always felt like I never did fit in properly. I was always, I was this jock in high school, but I was always never like part of the popular group and the teams. And I was just I never really found my groove and who I was. So I always kind of tried to be somebody else. typically it was whoever my friend was at, you know, whoever my friend was growing up, and I tried to be more like them, and then it just became even worse because I never really could come into myself. So I've always kind of been that unsure where I was kind of person. And I've always had a really bad relationship with food. For when I was growing up, I really, like, my parents would give me money and I would go to the chip truck up the road and I would buy poutine. Like, that was just it. Like, that was my go-to. And I learned really early on how to cook and how to make meals that I liked. And I think my parents' worst thing ever in their life was when they said, well, if you don't like what we're having for dinner, then make your own. So I immediately got up and started making my own. Needless to say, that didn't go over very well, but that was the kind of person, you know, I just used food as comfort and wanted what I wanted. So it's definitely been, that's who I was. And as I had a really bad relationship with food, I started to gain weight and then started to have some issues in terms of needing to fit in and wanting to be like the girls I was always friends with. And I always seemed to be friends with the same kind of girls. I always thought they were prettier than I was, or skinnier than I was, or more popular than I was. And then of course I would go to really unhealthy ways to try and get skinny and be that person. And this honestly went nonstop up until I met Rodney. Even actually after I met Rodney, I was always up weight, down weight, up weight, down weight, and tried every possible way other than the healthy way to lose weight. Like, at one point when I started dating Rodney, I even was taking Excedrin, I think it's pills, Excedrin pills. And I have a heart condition and I didn't pay attention to it, and it ended up me up in the hospital. And I actually ended up having to have heart surgery because of it. So I've never really felt comfortable with who I am, which really kind of gave me the background to really kind of do what I ended up doing in my business. And this is kind of, it's more of a watch out kind of caution story, because I don't want you to do what I did in terms of kind of going backwards in your business. So
you're probably thinking, what the heck does this have to do with coaching?
I'm actually laughing at that right now because that is my favorite thing in the entire world. If you have me on Snapchat, you'll know that. If you don't, add me, because now when I found that filter, I decided that every single thing I was going to say for that entire night was going to be in that filter. And so Rodney would ask me a question and I would literally take that filter, respond to it, and then show him it, and he was not impressed. Anyways, when I started coaching, I really was posting as me. I literally posted everything. Case in point, this lovely photo right here. I didn't think about what I was posting. I just really posted it. You know, if it was on my mind at the time, if I was struggling with it, if I was eating it, it was being posted. If I was in pain from workouts, if I, you know, like whatever it was, I posted it. I was completely raw and open with all of the people that were following me and joining in on my journey. And, you know, like I even had an instance with one of my coaches had sent me a photo and she was just ripping someone apart on Facebook and I had no idea what was going on. And he had shared one of my posts and said that I was still fat. And I kind of was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I was really shocked about how cool I was about the whole thing, because I was just being, you know, that's me. That was who I was. And I was really just wanting to connect with as many people as I could. And, you know, people weren't going to be, I even did a post one day about, you know, if you're not in this journey, that's fine. There's an unfollow button, like, give her. I was totally okay with who I was at that point. And I started having success. And, you know, I started reaching success. Like, I reached Success Club my first 3 months. So I was like, I gained my ticket to Nashville in October. I was making some extra money. I was gaining coaches. I had all these goals set for, I set all of my goals for 2016, and so many of them were really lofty. When I finished that, I was kind of like, I'm going to walk across that stage at Summit. And I'm going to go to Summit as a Success Club All-Star or Success Club 5 All-Star. And I'm going to, I had all of these things. And so I started gaining all of this confidence in myself. However, then I stopped focusing on what was really the business was about. I started researching what the top coaches were doing because I wanted to be more and more like them. I wanted to fit in with the top coaches and be as successful as they were. And, I didn't want to I wanted to basically go from Emerald to Superstar because that apparently in my mind was a good idea. So I started second guessing all my posts. I started only trying to post my highlight reel. I went against everything I was doing, and I knew, I started strategically thinking about my posts. Well, what would this do? Where would this get me? How much, how many challengers will this get me? Oh, I didn't work out today. Well, I shouldn't post that because people are going to think that I'm not doing it. I wasn't being raw. I wasn't being me. And that, for a while, that is exactly the constant thinking I was having. I wasn't being able to do what worked in the beginning because I was completely in my own mind trying to fit into what I believed an elite coach was. And at the time that wasn't me because clearly I'm an Emerald coach. But I thought I knew what an elite coach was, and I was trying to fit that mold. So basically what happened from that, trying to be something I wasn't, is I went from 9 months of consecutive Success Club 5+ to 2 months of not being able to hit Success Club. I went from, constantly connecting with people and having people question what I'm doing and how my journey is going, and having people like and comment on my posts, and having, having the conversations and having the easy conversations because they already knew what was going on, to not being able to connect with anyone. It was horrible. I remember telling Kelsey at the end of May, I was so devastated because I had a goal of going to Summit as a Success Club 5 All-Star. That's been my goal pretty much since I reached my Success Starter, my Nashville ticket. That was it. As soon as I reached that, I was like, I am going to be a Success Club 5 All-Star by the time I go to Nashville. And when I didn't hit it, I lost my mind. I remember sending a message to Kelsey being like, I honestly messaged more this month than I have ever messaged ever. And I was at 1. I was just devastated. For pretty much the first 2 months of June, I was in my own head about how horrible I was doing. I started second guessing everything, whether this was even for me. I constantly was thinking how people were probably thinking I was a failure, how I was a failure to myself. And basically, I kind of was just in a black oblivion hole. I was still doing my workouts, but that was just going through the motions at that point. I really didn't, I was doing the meal plan, or going through the motions of working out, but I wasn't really doing the meal plan. I wasn't really, tracking food. I was drinking on the weekends with friends. And so I was just basically kind of not fully participating. And then I was constantly, every time I would post something, and there was a while where I'd be one post here, and then 2 days later I'd be one post there. And, it kind of just, when I look back now, I just shake my head at it because there was no consistency to it. And I wonder why then in June, again, I wasn't able to hit Success Club because I was in this black hole of ridiculousness. But what I realized is that I wasn't being me. I wasn't being true to who I was and what my journey was, and what my struggles had gotten me. Another huge thing that I'm probably going to preach about 5 times in this in this call. And you know what, if you've heard it from all of your coaches, you've heard it from your top coaches, you've heard it from Carl Deichler, you've heard it from the trainers, like personal development is huge. And for the first 9.5, 10 months of being a coach, I was hit or miss with it. I was really, really good when I really connected to You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. I really connected with that book. And so I listened, like I have an audiobook of that, and I listened to it a couple times when I first got it. But then afterwards, I didn't find a book I connected with as much as that. And so I just stopped doing it. I used to listen to it on the way to work. I started listening to music again. I wasn't reading it. I would come up with excuses of why I wasn't doing it. I started reading, like, before I wouldn't read my book club books. I'd start reading like I'd listen to Jen Sincero or start some stuff. But like, I wasn't doing anything consistently. And if you can take anything away from this call, it's you really need to read some sort of personal development, because if you don't, you'll end up in a black hole of self-doubt, and that never does anything for anyone. And I also realized that I wasn't really coaching for the right reasons anymore. I was trying to be this great, amazing coach, but I was focusing on me and what I wanted as opposed to focusing on anyone else. Now that I've realized all this, I've looked back and I don't recognize the couple of, the good month and a half of when I was trying to be somebody else, even 2 months, I don't recognize that as me. I don't see those posts and see me in them. I see somebody else. I see ideas I got from other coaches, and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. And then just kind of took it and didn't use my story or my experiences in it at all. I just kind of just took it. So that's what I started to realize. So my biggest change for me was after I realized that basically 2 of my goals before Summit were gone. I had to make a hard decision. And Kelsey doesn't even know this, but there was a good week and a half in June that I actually full out was about to quit. I was about to just, stop, just do a discount coach, stop active coaching, focus on myself and not pay attention to anything, right? Like just kind of focus on me, give up on trying to be this great thing that I thought I couldn't be. And I just thought that's what was going to happen. But it was either that or figure out what had happened in the last month and a half that caused me to lose my mind and fix it. So I really kind of stopped, looked at what had happened, and decided to fix it. The one thing that Rodney has always been, he's not always, super supportive in terms of my time spent coaching, which, I get that, especially in the last 2 weeks with the release of Country Heat. Like I've been on my phone nonstop. But he's always been there to support me and say, remember the reason you started this. Remember the girl in the photo of me on that boat when I hated myself. Like, just think of that. And he always says that. He's always like, remember where you were and remember who you became when you were unhappy. So at that point, I decided like I was going to do something. I was going to change it, and I was going to be an active coach, and I was going to go back to being me. So I actually signed up for a webinar and an online training course that really kind of took a total different look at Beachbody coaching than kind of the typical stuff we get taught from coaches. So it's a lot more of looking at yourself and looking at who you were, who you are, and who you're becoming, as opposed to kind of some other ideas. And it was really making me kind of realize that I wasn't being me anymore. I wasn't following through with my experiences. And so at that point, I kind of was like, okay, I need to go back to what I was doing. I spent hours going through Facebook and looking at my old posts and realizing that the posts I did from back then were way different than the stuff I was posting now. And so I started doing that again. And like this morning, I did a post pretty much almost not on purpose, but it was pretty much identical to what I had done at the beginning. It was just me in front of the mirror being like, I don't want to do this workout. I've been up since 3:15 every morning for the last 3 mornings because my husband feels the need to wake me up. And now my body thinks I'm supposed to wake up at 3:15. But here I am in my sweet 21-day fix extreme work tank top. I didn't put that, but I just like the tank top. And I'm going to go work out. And that got so many comments and so many likes that it kind of was another, nail in the coffin of this is who I am. This is who I have been. This is as raw as it gets. Like, this is me. I don't need to do the fancy videos or figure out how to cut everything together for iMovie or have a camera set up in my basement to be successful. I just need, and to connect with people and to have people want to trust in me to reach their goals and have people want to, to have me motivate them. Like, I don't need all that fancy stuff for that. I just need to be me.
So my Fitbit now tells me when I should go to bed because I set it to do that. So it just sent me a text message saying it's time to wind down for bed. It's like having your parents living with you in your phone.
So this is me. This is a Snapchat I did, and I ended up posting it for my team or for my challenge group. This is just me. This is who I own this. And I actually on Friday did a whole thing about, I see your posts, I'm going to get back to you. I'm unplugging for the night because I need to for my sanity. And I posted it on my fitness page and my Facebook page. And Rodney stopped and said, "Are you kidding me? Like, you're actually going to post that?" And he goes, "People are going to think you're an idiot." And I kind of stopped and was like, then they think I'm an idiot. At this point, the worst thing I've already done is post a horrible, my lowest of low photos of me in my bra and underwear at the beginning of my journey. That is like the worst thing I could have posted on Facebook to make me feel like crap. I've already done that. If they don't like the fact that I sound like a freaking idiot talking in my B face and I think my parents are in my phone because my Fitbit is now telling me to go to bed at 10 o'clock each night, then I don't want them in my life. Like, this is kind of where you get to. Once you kind of look and realize, what you want to be and how you're going to get there and how you're going to get people to join you by being you, you kind of just, you no longer care. So, I have some action steps coming up that I think are kind of going to help nail some of this down because I feel like I'm just ranting right now. But I want you to kind of look at this video and do something goofy and ridiculous that you think is totally funny because it makes you laugh. Like, you have to be true to yourself before you can be true to anyone else. So these are kind of some action steps that I think are really going to benefit you guys. These are supposed to be really cute stars. I'm a little angry they didn't stay like that. Anyways, first is unfollow all coaches other than your upline or your personally sponsored downline or success partners. I know what I did as a brand new coach and as I became more and more into coaching was started following every single coach. And it's really bad for a couple of reasons. One reason is because you think everyone on your Facebook page sees Beachbody all the time, which isn't true. And it just makes you start second guessing, how saturated the market is or if you should be doing it or da-da-da-da. Like, everything went through my head. So unfollow, if you're super close friends with a couple coaches, keep them on. But if you're not, unfollow them. If you want to go back and look at some posts and see what they're doing and check in with them, once a week or whatever, that's awesome. But for every day, unfollow them because all it's going to do is make you take a look and be like, oh, should I be doing that? Oh, I need to post about this. Oh, I need to do this. So you don't, like, at the beginning, before you knew about any of these elite coaches, before you knew about the top 10, you just were you, and you didn't have them on your feed. And that's where you need to start again. So you need to go back and look at your posts from where you were as a brand new coach. The next point also is one from my branding seminar that I did, but is go back and look at your posts and say, what did they say? What did you post about? How raw were you about your journey? You have to really think, because at that beginning, you are typically, I know for me, when I started my journey, I was at my lowest point. And for one of my coaches one of my successful coaches, she also was at her lowest point when she started. And, when you are at your lowest point, you're willing to just kind of put it all out there because you just need something to change. And that's the stuff that truly shows who you are. And that's what you need to go back and look at if you've kind of lost yourself. The next is to write down who you are when you started your journey. So this is definitely something, it's actually a really good tip for you to find, like, to connect with challengers as well. But write down who you were when you started. How did you feel? What were your struggles? Where did you want to be? Because number one, it's great for you to kind of check in and be like, you know what, this is where I was. This is how I felt. This is where I want to be. This is what's changed since then. But it also kind of gives you a reality check of, you're like, oh, I am not who I wanted to be, right? Or, I'm not being who I think I should be. I'm being someone else. It's a really good kind of check in with yourself to be like, am I going down the road of me? Remember and realize that not everyone is going to join you on this new life. Not everyone is going to be supportive of you. You're going to get friends that, are like, really, you're doing that? I remember I was at a meeting with my mentor through work. So not even Beachbody. She and I were talking, she was mentoring me because I had started with the government. And she asked me, she goes, can you see that you're still going to keep doing this? Like, I think this is ridiculous. And I was like, okay, wow. Yeah, I do. Like, if you may not support me on it, that's fine. But I'm still going to keep doing it because I know it's right for me. And I know that this is what I'm meant to do. I am a very, very strong believer that everything happens for a reason. And there was a reason I finally connected with Kelsey's posts. And there was a reason I finally decided, you know what, I need to be a coach. And there's a reason why Kelsey ignored everything I told her about me being a discount coach and posted the congratulations, Alyssa's new coach thing. Yeah. That always gets brought up. Oh, Kelsey. But there's a reason for all of this. And there's a reason I went through this struggle to lose myself, to kind of find myself again and go back to the fact that, this is who I am. And now I'm more secure and more concrete in who I am. And, and I'm more comfortable with the fact that if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. And, there are some people that I do try harder at, and that's in my adult job. Like, I try to make sure everyone likes me at my adult job because it pays me my salary. But in regular life, I just, if you're not going to be positive and support me in what I do, then why are you around? So funny story on the sidebar of this. My birthday is on Friday, and we're having friends over for a barbecue. And Rodney's quite a perfectionist, and our backyard kind of looks like a disaster area. And so I was picking weeds. And Rodney's like, I don't even know why we're doing this. Da, 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 da. And I kind of just snapped and said, who cares if there's weeds in our backyard? Who cares if it looks like a disaster area? Who cares if, it's not perfect? I said, if our friends are going to come over and judge me because I have a couple of weeds in my garden, they're not good friends. Like, I don't even want them here. And he kind of was like, oh. And I don't think Rodney has kind of really gotten to this point of that this is who I am sort of situation. I kind of took him back, and I was like, yeah, this is true. My friends are going to be happy to be here and celebrate. They aren't going to care if I have weeds. And that's how you should be in in this journey. It should be, I'm going to be here doing this for me. If they don't, well, there's negativity all around us. You sign on to Facebook and there's negativity every second or third post. Heck, most of the time, every single post other than, some rare ones. You don't need extra negativity in your life. Get rid of it. So I have a challenge for everybody. And if you do it, I want you to tag me in it, because I really want to see what you do. And I'll even do it, I have been doing it and I just kind of think it's funny, but I want you guys to go 24 hours posting whatever comes to your mind. Don't even think about it, just post it. And this is really funny because I've done it not too long ago where it's 24 hours in the brain of Alyssa, and it was the most random stuff. It was posts about traffic and the East End, and and posts about food, and posts about my dogs, and posts about just random things. And it was just kind of really your life, because that post or that challenge kind of goes into the 1-2 down. But I find when you start overthinking this business and you start trying to do what you think is really going to get you to where you want to be, you start to post only about Beachbody. Well, at least with me, and I've seen it in a couple of my challengers, or in a couple of my coaches, that you start posting about Beachbody because you want people to get the fact that you're a coach and you want them to join, or you want them to join you. But really, you need to go back to the fact that if you post 3 times a day, one of them should be about Beachbody and the other 2 should be about other things. That was in a training I listened to when I was very first started, and I actually really paid attention to it back then. But then eventually I started posting every single post, 3, 4, 5 times a day was about Beachbody. And I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder people don't want to join me. They're just so annoyed by me. So try this. Try going 24 hours with just posting whatever comes to your mind. That's, I've slowly transitioned to Snapchat for that, because Snapchat, I can literally just take a picture and that's it. That's my life at that moment. But for engaging with potential challengers and potential coaches and, trying to inspire, just really, really be raw and just post whatever it is. You'd be really amazed about who connects with you on that. If you haven't already, do it. Write a scary post. Write a post that you literally have to talk yourself into posting. Write the post that you never thought you would be able to post. My before post, after my first round of the 21-day fix, that before and after, I wrote, and then I wrote the write-up, and I reread it, and I rewrote it, and I read it, and I read it to Rodney, and I had to eventually, I just had to set a timer on my Hootsuite and be like, just post this. Because if I hadn't, I would have never done it. It was the scariest thing I'd ever done. But after that, everything seems a lot easier. Like I said, that B one of me doing it, I don't care. People see me in my underwear on Facebook. Me being a B, not scary anymore. Another thing is that I took from my one branding seminar is find your area of expertise. So I love food. I have always loved the Food Network. I have always loved cooking for people. I hate to clean up afterwards. If I could hire a maid in my house 24/7, I would have one. Hashtag coach goals. But I love food. I love making recipes up. 95% of the time, I don't abide by recipes. I'll kind of get the idea and then I'll just try it. So I really kind of realized that that's what I need to be focusing on, because although there are some coaches, that are super great at other aspects, I'm really good at meal planning, meal prepping, now on a budget because I've been really strict about trying to pay down some debt, and cooking. And so that's what I've started to really focus on. A couple weeks ago, I went live on my Facebook page, my Alyssa Leippi fitness page and did a video doing a recipe and doing a live cooking show. Like, it was my ultimate goal ever. Like, I want to be on Food Network, and I'm not going to lie to you, I like want to submit that video into Food Network for their next Food Network star and see if I could get far. But just because I love food and I love cooking and I love seeing people try my recipes and have success with my recipes. And so that's, for me, that's it. Like, you know, and you can tell, like, as soon as I start talking about it, my passion comes out. Like, I love doing that. I love seeing people eat my food and appreciate it and know that it's healthy for them. You know, having a diabetic husband, I have to really start thinking about but I really have to think about, you know, what's going to be good for him, what's going to keep his, you know, his blood sugars down, what can be low carb, what protein can help him, and things like that. So you really you can see when I feed him stuff, I really like being able to see that it's going to help him and it's going to help his body and it's going to help him perform the way he needs. And that's, you know, I just love that. So find that one area, like look at your health and fitness knowledge and really narrow down what your area of expertise is. Because once you kind of find that, then you can start really kind of posting stuff about that, and it'll also help you. You know, find out what your true passion is and what you know most about, and go there. And lastly, because this has gone longer than the half an hour I originally anticipated, do personal development. Like, I can't even begin. If you're struggling with this, reach out to me and I will be success partners with you to check in with you to do your personal development. You know, I took an idea from Morgan for my next challenge group, and having my challengers read The Compound Effect, just because I think it is such an amazing thing to have you change your mind with. Like, that book is, you know, I'm 3/4 of the way through. Like, I literally started it a month and a half ago. Again, personal development for me has been a real struggle. But because I start reading one book and then I want to read another, and then I listen to a podcast, and then I do this, like, literally the brain of Alyssa. Anyways, like, so that's what I'm doing for my challengers, because I think it's really important for them to start that personal development journey with their fitness journey. I think they go hand in hand. But if you need a success partner for personal development, if I need to make a group and we read just like a book club, you know, we every 2 weeks or every month, depending on what your schedule's like. And I always think I can do a lot more than I can, but, like, you know, and we read the book together. Like, you know, 1 week we read 2 chapters, 1 week we read, you know, the next week we read a couple chapters. Like, if you need that, reach out to me and we can do that, because honestly, personal development if you're doing it, will either make or break you in this business. You really need to be able to do personal development. So that is all of the information I have. Crazy dog lady. I hope that really you kind of get some tips from this and realize that if you stop being who you are, this is really bad now. There we go. If you stop being who you are and stop, you know, being true to yourself, you're not going to be able to get where you want to go with this business. And I think that it's really important for you to make sure to check in and to look back and see, you know, where did I come from and where do I want to be, and make sure that who you are when you started this is still kind of, you know, as true as you are now. Because, you know, you'll get success by being you, and you'll get challengers and you'll get coaches and you'll succeed with them because they're like you. You know, there's no point in getting coaches and challengers that don't connect with you, because then they're not going to succeed, because they won't be able to, you know, they won't be able to relate with you when you're posting about struggles. They won't be able to relate with you when you're posting about your 2 dogs that keep you up all night and don't let you do your workouts the next morning because they're looking in your face all day. Like, you have to be able to be okay with who you are in order to gain the people that will attract to you. So that is my very long-winded way of saying, be who you are and say fuck the rest. Okay, guys.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Seriously, I like was sitting here the whole time and I was like shaking my head. I know you couldn't see my face, but I was just like, yep, yep. And when you were talking about having that like moment of like, should I quit? Should I take a step back? I was posting in the chat group, but I've had that moment 7 times myself. And you know, a lot of the times when I look back at those moments now, it's the exact same thing you were talking about, you know, getting caught up in wanting to be at your end goal and forgetting to be on that journey and just being authentically you in that moment. And when I've got caught up in that, that's when I've lost myself. I've gained weight and everything seems like it's falling apart. And I think the best thing I've ever done has been when I find myself in that moment, I ask myself the simple question of, would my life be better if I wasn't a coach? And when I sit down and I honestly look at that and I look at what my life would be like without this, the answer is always no. The answer is always no, because the people that I've met, the relationships I've built, you guys, just the community and the positivity and that nonstop support system. So when you fall off the wagon, that of your fitness journey itself, even, there's always that group of people there to support you. And I think that's a really big deal. No matter what's thrown at me, I'm going to be a coach forever. I'm going to be here because my life is better with all of you. My life is better with this business in it. Even when it gets hard, frustrating, or I lose myself, it is still better. And when I'm focusing on my journey and who I am, and I'm really connecting with people, my life is 1,000 times better. So being here is the best thing ever. And I think a lot of the time when we think about, you know, asking our friends and family to join us or our challengers to join us, we get so nervous because it is something that has changed our life, and it's something that's so near and dear to our heart that we're afraid of people rejecting it or not understanding. So we are hesitant from sharing it with others. And more, no, oh my goodness, I can't even talk. I'm so excited. So there has not been a moment in my business more than right now that I am so certain about how this business has shaped my life and that every single other person's life would be better. I hear people, you know, talking about negative things that are happening in the world. I see people talking about losing jobs. I see people talking about how they hate their jobs or how they're unhappy or, you know, they don't feel fulfilled or there's no future in their career. And I sit there and I think you need to have the freedom. You need to be in this. You need to give this a try. Even though it's scary, it's no more scary than starting a new job. It's no more scary than taking that first leap and trying on your first pair of skinny jeans. Everyone is going to go through those moments of fear of people judging you or thinking like you can't do that or you can't wear that. But when you go for it and you try it on, you're going to find out that you love it, and you're going to find out that you can rock it, and you're going to find out that it can open up new opportunities to your life and it can make things better. And I think that's super important, that no matter who it is, and even if they say no the first time, to keep sharing it, because it's how others can feel. And by being authentically you to your journey and being truthful to that, that's what people are going to connect to. So you absolutely nailed this topic on the head, Alyssa. You couldn't have said it better. And I'm glad that you gave so many examples and so many true stories from what you've gone through, because I think a lot of the time, you know, we'll say, oh, well, we've all gone through it, or we all have our ups and downs, or we all have to find ourselves. And people will say, well, what does that look like? What does that even mean? And they aren't sure if they're stuck in that same trap or if they need to work on that or where they're at. And I think that's really important that they hear those stories. So I'm glad that you took the time to do that, because it will help people to understand that where they're at is, it's okay to share those things. And it's okay to share, you know, if you gain weight or lose weight, or that you've had an aha moment in your business, or if your business is even down, like just share it and just share whatever is on your mind. Because when you're being truthful to yourself and you're being truthful to your journey, they're going to relate to it. They're going to say, okay, well, if she can do this, then so can I. If she can overcome this, so can I. And I think that's the biggest thing, is no matter what you're going through, someone's going to connect to it, whether it's in their own life, someone's close, or someone that's close in their life and they're going through it, whatever it might be. That's so, so important. And just sharing that so authentically. And like you said, like, I love your challenge at the end to take that 24 hours and just post what's on your mind, because a lot of times people will say to me, well, I follow a lot of Beachbody coaches So I don't know, maybe I'll work with one of them, or, you know, they'll talk about, I'll see them posting it on Facebook and stuff, right? And they won't be really connecting to what it really is about. And then finally, you'll have that conversation with someone and they'll say, okay, like, I like following you because you're so real, or you always are so honest, or you're so approachable. And that comes with being honest and being approachable on your Facebook by sharing you and sharing your life, sharing what you do, what's on your mind, what you've gone through. And I think that's what makes our team stand out compared to other teams. You know, there's people in this business that, you know, they are business orientated and they are more sales oriented, and that's okay. That works for them, and that's true to what they want to do with their business. But our team is about the heart and the hustle and the belief, and, you know, growing mentally, emotionally, and physically. And I think that's why we all connect so well and we love each other so much. We've all become friends so fast because we all have that same vision for life, and we want others to have that same vision too. So when people connect with you, they connect with you for a real reason, and they connect with you because they know that you're a real person. You're not there, you know, to make 20 bucks or 30 bucks and walk away. You're there because you believe in them, because you felt so good that you want them to feel so good. And I think that's why all of us, whether your journey's been fast as a coach or slow as a coach, or you've had an up and down journey, you will go to the top. You will get to every single goal, whether it takes a year, 5 years, whatever. You will get there because you have a true heart, and every single person on this team has a true heart. And if you've doubt for a second that you can't be a top coach, you need to message me or Alyssa or your upline or whoever, or post in the group and let us know, because you need to know that you are going to the top and you are going to reach every single goal. Because if you are you, someone else is going to say, I want to do what she's doing. I want to get on that train. I want to do what she's doing. I want to feel damn good. So I love this call. I love everything you said, Alyssa. I couldn't have agreed any more with it. And you just blew me away tonight. So thank you for the motivation, and thank you for taking the time tonight to share your heart and to share your ups and downs. So that was amazing. And Carrie says, I'm here. She's just posted in the chat. So yeah, Carrie made it. So that was awesome. Nobody really had questions that I saw. I guess my question to you, or to you, Alyssa, sorry, would be, if you look at the last year of your life, what is the moment that stands out, or the moment or a feeling or something? What's the biggest thing that stands out to you, the best thing so far?
There are you know, there are different ones for each reason. I think for me, it was actually just the other night, when we had our summit call, because really, like, you know, I've met Carrie now twice at Super Sunday. I've met you know, I've met Tamara once at a Super Sunday, and I was like a, hey, how are you sort of thing. But you become so close with, you know, with these people, and you become like really such a family that you know, you don't even double think about the fact that you're flying, you know, to another country with the people you've never really met before, and you're staying in a house with them. And, you know, you just don't even think about that because you're so close that it's now part, you know, they're part of who you are. Like, I share stuff in our coaches group that I wouldn't share with my other friends, because you guys get it. Like, you know, our team gets it. And I think that's the biggest thing. And, you know, when I started this, and I've heard about, you know, like other coaches being like, yeah, our team's so close. No, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure you are. But then, like, now that that's us, like, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you literally are super close with these people. And, you know, like, none of us live pretty much in the same city. None of us can get together and have coffee every day. Like, we are so close because of this business, and because we all go through the same struggles, and because, you know, we have our ups and downs, and we turn to each other through all of it. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that, you know, on a good day and a bad day, I can go to that group and I can talk to whoever is around to hear it, and know that I'm, you know, that I have someone. So I think that's the biggest thing.
I always love or someone, I don't even know who first said this, but you can take away the commission, you can take away, even the programs. But if you take away the people, like that's the one thing that we don't, like, I would never want to lose. Like, take away all the rest, even though I love it, it's the people I would want to keep, the coaches, the challengers, the community. So that goes to show like how much this can change your life. And, when you look at like, well, who's going to join me? Who would be good for this? Well, like for myself, like I live in a small town, like I have one friend here. If I didn't have this, I honestly would go insane. So it just goes like, there's people that are living in situations all over North America where they feel alone, or haven't been able to get a job, or they don't have a network, or they've never felt like they've ever had that group of people, or they've ever had that girlfriend in their corner. And sometimes it's not even about the fitness journey or about getting the abs or losing weight. Sometimes it's not that at all for someone to join. Sometimes it's the community. So as much as we share about the fitness part of it, we have to share about this side of it too, right? All the authentic things about yourself that this has changed, every aspect that's changed your life. So I totally, that's probably my favorite thing as well. And I can't wait to be able to see all of you at Summit this year, to meet you guys, more people at Super Sundays, and to go on trips with you guys more in the future, and to do a diamond retreat with all of you in the new year. I'm just so pumped to be able to do all those things with you guys, and look forward to many, many more times of hanging out and many more calls and hangouts. So I'm going to wrap up the call now, Alyssa, unless you have something else you want to add.
No, the one thing
but I'm going to.
Sorry. The one thing I did want to say is try to, whenever you post something or whenever you look at something, try to make it so that when someone meets you in person, you are the exact same person in person that you are on Facebook. That's the way that you're doing it right. Like when someone meets me, like when Kelsey and I met and went for a walk around the park, I literally was the exact same person, because that's who I am. So, when you are doing things and you are trying to, to get challengers and coaches and stuff, just make sure that when you are sharing you're sharing you. And so, if I were to meet you in the street, I would know exactly who you are and what your story is, because that's what you're sharing. So that's my end tip.
Love it. You couldn't have ended that any more perfect than you did. So thank you everyone for joining us. If you have a coach that wasn't able to hop on tonight, make sure that you tag them in the recording in the group. I posted it in the Believe Empire group, as well as I believe in Growing Emeralds. So make sure you do that, and make sure everyone hears this call, because it was absolute gold. And make sure that you next time you see Alyssa, you give her a big shout out for taking the step and doing a big team call for us. So thank you for joining, and I will talk to you guys all on Saturday on the Coach Coffee Call, Saturday morning. If you guys want to join us, that will be posted in the Believe Empire group as well. So see you guys. Bye.